Welcome to the ALC Changemakers podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Sconiers. On today's episode, I'm joined by Elaine Birks-Mitchell, an entrepreneur, systems thinker, and founder of the F.A.B.R.I.C, a social enterprise based in Gilbert, Arizona. Elaine and I connected through NAWBO, a national organization supporting women business owners, and from our very first conversation, I knew her story had to be on this podcast. In today's episode, we unpack how Elaine turned a drawer full of unworn bras into a business model that collects and recycles bras and underwear for women and girls in shelters, domestic violence programs, and Title I schools, all while running a profitable enterprise. We talk about the difference between a nonprofit and a social enterprise, why Elaine eventually started a nonprofit arm anyway. Spoiler, it was strategic. How she built an inclusive workforce through a partnership with a disability employment organization. And how she's navigating the very real pressures of tariffs and a tough economic market. In this episode, we'll dig into what social entrepreneurship actually looks like in practice, why Elaine resisted, then embraced, starting a nonprofit arm, the systems mindset that drives her operations, how tariffs are impacting her business and how she's adapting, why weaving giving into your business model matters more than ever. Whether you're a nonprofit leader questioning your model, a small business owner with a heart for community, or someone who just wants to know what to do with that pile of bras in your closet, this conversation is for you. Let's dive in. Hi, everybody. It's Jennifer here, and welcome to the ALC Changemakers podcast. Today, I'm so excited to have Elaine Birks-Mitchell. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
For listeners, Elaine and I met through NAWBO. So I've had some guests for different organizations where I'm active. NAWBO is an organization that supports women business owners. So we have a chapter in Columbus, and there's also a national chapter. And Elaine and I have met through the national chapter. So we've been in virtual space together and having some connection calls. And I'm so excited to hear from Elaine because you have a social enterprise called the F.A.B.R.I.C based in Gilbert, Arizona, so the Phoenix area. And I know listeners will be excited to learn about your leadership journey and what you're doing. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And it was so exciting to just meet you on Empower Hour.
Yes.
And we said, let's connect. And we're here now talking.
We're here now talking. Tell our listeners a bit about you and your leadership journey.
So the F.A.B.R.I.C, that's my baby. That's something I am so passionate about. And I started the F.A.B.R.I.C. Well, first, that's not what I've done all my life. I was in the corporate world, like many of us, and we went through getting a base and foundation experience that leads to what I'm doing now. So absolutely, that has shaped what I'm doing now in terms of how I started my business, how I run my business. But the F.A.B.R.I.C was something that I started because I knew that there was more for me to give than what I was able to or could give in the corporate world. And I knew I wanted to do something where I was going to be able to give back, but also I wanted to still make a profit. So I was so intrigued with that social entrepreneurship model. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to do because I had been thinking about that, but I didn't have a name for it back then. So this was back in 2008. And I'm like, okay, where are my people? I know this is something other people are doing. And then so I just started researching and learning about social entrepreneurship, social enterprise, and what other people were doing. I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to be able to, we see an opportunity or a way to make things better. And basically we use entrepreneur principles to help solve it. So a lot of people say, well, why aren't you a nonprofit? Well, thank you. Nonprofits, they're known for giving back. So that's a great thing. But I'm like, yeah, we're not a nonprofit. We still think that we can give back just as much as a nonprofit and still make money. And it's okay to do that. And I think that's been one of our biggest challenges when I decided to go that social entrepreneur route, is that it was a constant explaining to people, well, why are you making money doing good? I'm like, well, it takes money to do good. Doing good is not free. And I would get that comment quite a bit, which was very interesting. Now, when I talk with people outside the US, social entrepreneurship is much more, I think, accepted and well known and being practiced, but it primarily came from people like within the US in terms of, why are you trying to make money doing good? I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had to use examples like a Goodwill. They make a lot of money doing good. So it's been an interesting journey with the whole social entrepreneur model.
Yeah, well, I'd like to unpack that a bit more,
Sure.
right? Because I think, I'll just say candidly for listeners, this is something where, because we work with nonprofits, mostly at ALC, and because of the state of just the world and the market, there have been some real questions around the business model for nonprofit.
Absolutely.
And I've been doing some studying. I'm taking a course with Harvard University now, their business school, to better understand social enterprise and how it works and how it's constructed. But can you just kind of like give us a breakdown when you created your business? Like, what did that look like? Pragmatic.
Yeah.
What does it take to create a social enterprise?
Absolutely. What I think for me, it started out as we knew that there was this problem or opportunity, right? We knew that there were women and girls going into these various programs, shelters, etc., being rescued from human trafficking, domestic violence, etc. We knew that was an issue, and we knew that was an issue with them going into the program. And when they got there, of course, they have nothing. And then based on conversations I had with local shelters, one of the big things missing was underwear, bras and underwear. And so, again, that was that aha moment. I'm like, I got a bunch sitting in my drawer, don't know what to do. I'm paid a lot of money for them, don't want to throw them out.
Yeah.
And so it started there. I'm like, oh, I have a dozen minimum I can give you. And then for me, again, that aha moment, like, well, I'm sure other ladies have them too. So again, my background from the corporate world, and came out of the information technology area and project management, primarily software development projects. So for me, I'm very systematic in my thinking, or very systems oriented. So I'm like, let me throw up a web page and let me see what reaction I get from women on what they're doing with their bras. And so I was shocked at the response I got. And then I just told people, start mailing them into me. Come on, mail them on in. So it started there. But so for me, I'm like, okay, I'm on to something. Again, here's this issue or opportunity we have. Now, well, how can I make this bigger? And at the time, I did not want to start a nonprofit. I'll just be real honest. I didn't want all the stuff that goes with starting a nonprofit. Now, we do have a nonprofit on now. We'll talk about that. But I'm like, okay, this is something that I can do. Now, how can I do this, but also make money from it?
Right.
So I got very intrigued with, okay, what's the life cycle of bras and underwear? So for many retailers, the process or the policy is landfill, burn, and cut. And so, which is very wasteful, as we know. So I got very interested in the whole textile recycling model in terms of learning about that. Had no clue about that industry at all, nothing. But again, I'm going back to, how can this help me build out and help more women? So again, thinking about that initial issue that I'm trying to solve for. And so just began to research, got on boards of a textile recycling organization or association just to learn more. And that's how we, again, framed ourselves as a textile recycler. We're very specialized in what we do. So from a business perspective and a revenue perspective, we offer up basically a service for retailers to be a little more responsible and sustainable in terms of what they do with their overstock returns and samples. So we'll either buy or negotiate getting their overstock returns and samples. And then what we do is work with other textile recyclers. And for what we don't keep to donate out, they buy our excess. So it's a very different model. It's a model I think a lot of people just aren't aware of in terms of how the whole textile recycling industry works.
Yeah.
But that's how we decided to that's how we kind of fund our social enterprise. And again, I know it's very unusual. People are like, I never even know you could do that or what that was about. But that's kind of what we did and how we started it. It was, again, something very simple. So how can I make this into a business?
Well, I just love this, Elaine, because I'm hearing it starts with many of us, I should say, to listeners, we start our businesses because there's a problem we're trying to solve. So what's the problem we're trying to solve and how this thing we're creating solves said problem? So I'm hearing for you, Elaine, the problem was there was a need, and it could, like for women and girls in homeless shelters or in different types of programs, they needed bras. They needed bras and underwear, right? Yeah. That's a basic need.
Basic need.
Right. And so you are seeing this problem. You started with just some testing, I'm going to say, right? In terms of, okay, well, what do I do with my bras? Which is a question a lot of us ask. What are we doing with them? And then you put up your website. So seeing, well, do people want to do this? Do they want to help in this way?
Yes, testing it out. Exactly.
Testing it out, put up the website. And I'm hearing you saying you are a systems thinker. So you're like, okay, like how do we systematize this in a way where we solve this problem of women and girls who need underwear, who are in shelters, who are dealing with whatever the life issues, right, that they're dealing with. And then I heard that you learned, right? Like you learned about the textiles industry. You sat on a board to learn more. And from that learning, I'm hearing, Elaine, you found your niche.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I would have, if you would have asked me years ago, would I be doing bra recycling? Absolutely not. I'm like, what? You're crazy. What do you mean? So this was, again, nothing I even thought about. I knew that I was telling people, I knew that I wanted to figure out how to make a living from my giving. I always ask people that, but I didn't know how I was going to do that. I did not know how I was going to do that. And this just came to me.
I love that. How to make a living from your giving.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you mentioned you did want to start a nonprofit. You started the social enterprise, but I know you do have a nonprofit because you named it.
Absolutely.
Tell us a bit more about how that evolved, what that looks like, and how that feeds into your business model.
Yes. So that's very interesting. So Jennifer, I thought that for so long. I'm not going to lie. I did not want to do that on starting a nonprofit because as you work with nonprofits, you know everything that goes along with that. But here's what was happening. There are a couple of things, primary reasons that we started working with a lot of larger companies. A lot of large companies, particularly here in the U.S., that social enterprise models is still not as accepted. And so we were getting feedback, we can only work with a nonprofit, not a social enterprise. I wanted to take that argument off the table. I knew that you're probably just getting rid of the stuff anyway, but if it means that I just need to provide you with that tax deduction or you just need to work with a nonprofit, I want to give you that because I want to work with you. I don't want you to have that stuff go to landfill. So let me give you that. But the second reason, again, it comes back to me being a social entrepreneur, is there was a need that I found out about that I wanted to help solve. And that was working with Title I schools and getting underwear into our Title I schools. Huge issue. We don't talk about it much. But for me, there was a big prompting for that because of a call I got from a teacher who had a girl that was just suffering and she needed to get a bra for her because she wanted to literally damage her breasts and she was being bullied and teased. And she was very large for her age in the 6th grade. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to help these teachers and school nurses get simple resources like bras and underwear so these kids can focus on school and not their wardrobe. So that was a big aha moment for me with also starting the nonprofit because we wanted to start a program with the school. Then it was a lot easier to do that as a nonprofit versus a for-profit company. And I needed help with that, to be honest, too. That is a big effort taking on the schools. And I literally had to shut off the faucet. When people heard we were starting to work with schools, you would not believe the request that we got in. I mean, we're only one organization. We can only do so much. So that was one of the reasons we did start the Unwanted. And so how it ties in with the bra recyclers is that when we get companies that approach us and then they're like, well, the bra recyclers said, we can't work with you because I always have the undie chest now kind of as that, but here's what we can do with you. We still can work with you because we do have a nonprofit arm. So that's been amazing to be able to kind of have that extra little tool in my pocket to say, don't go away. We can partner with you if what you need is that tax deduction form. So.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is having the nonprofit for you was strategic to meet a marketplace need where you knew there's still this impact. The problem you want to solve is making sure women, girls, people who wear bras, underwear, panties, that they have those resources. And I'm hearing that having the nonprofit arm was essential because there are entities you wanted to work with that would only work with you if you had a nonprofit. So Title I schools, and can you explain what a Title I school is for any listeners?
Yeah, a Title I school is a school that where the population of the school, there's a certain percent that are below the poverty level or low income level. So they have a higher percent than other schools. Yes.
Exactly. So you really have more students they're at risk in certain ways.
They're at risk, absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you wanted to make sure you wanted to work with this population of students in particular. You wanted to make sure they had these essentials, right?
Absolutely.
Underwear. And the way to do it was to have the nonprofit. I just want to understanding it for listeners because the reason was very strategic. And I name this because, and this is combos, I've had these conversations in different spaces with different entrepreneurs. I think that there are many of us who have a heart for community.
Yeah.
And we have a heart for our particular communities and we want to give back.
Right.
And so the instinct is also a nonprofit to give back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And while that is beautiful to give back, to do it in a way that is strategic and smart.
Yes.
Is a sustainable way to give back.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say, Elaine, you have found a way to give back in a way that's a business model.
Absolutely.
It includes a nonprofit.
Yep.
But you are still making a profit on the social enterprise side. So
Absolutely.
It's a both and. It's not either
It's
or.
a both. Absolutely. And one feeds the other, which is great. So, for example, with the nonprofit side, we only take new items, the nonprofit, because we want to reduce our costs. Our biggest costs if from the bra recycler side, or social enterprise, is sorting and shipping and warehouse space. Yeah. And so one of the things that when I was thinking about the nonprofit side is that we only want to take in new items because that helps reduce that cost of having to sort. That's one of our biggest costs. But I want to talk about that too. So it was strategically thinking like, okay, just new things. But of course, people send in used things. Now, what we do, we're using kind of the same model we did with the bra recycler side. If we get in used things, that is a revenue stream. We can sell those off to other textile recyclers who will take things that they're not of quality to donate, but the textile recyclers will still like those items. One really key thing I did mention from an operational standpoint, and we use it for both the unwanted and the bra recyclers, is that as a social enterprise, we're always thinking of ways how we can give back, right? You talk about that. And so for me, what was very important, and this kind of fell in our lap too, is operationally, we work with a local organization that works with people with disabilities, and it's called F.A.B.R.I.C. And it is amazing. I can't even tell you. We had in the beginning such a hard time finding a good labor force to help us. Our industry is very labor intensive in terms of sorting. And so we approached them. We said, here's what we're doing. And they're like, absolutely. And so what we do is that we train the staff what to look for when we get a shipment in. We get used product in. They're looking to see if snaps are broken, if it's stained, so it is just amazing. They are such an amazing group to work with because they want to work. They want to make a living, right? And that is such an amazing strategic partnership that we have that has just really allowed us to grow.
Yes.
And it's just can't even say enough about that.
Well, I love this innovation. Can you name the organization one more time?
Yeah, it's called F.A.B.R.I.C, E-P-I-H-A-B, F.A.B.R.I.C. So they work, Epi stuff, epilepsy. So some of the organizations, some of the employees have like epilepsy or some other disability and can't in a normal work environment. So they provide them those opportunities where they can work, and they work around however they need to work. So they're very flexible, but it's, again, just an amazing opportunity. They work with all kind of other businesses also in terms of shipping. They have a printing. It's just amazing. We actually have a video on our website where we have the president talking about F.A.B.R.I.C. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, listen, I'm just loving the way, again, you've taken something that's cause oriented, right? And you've created into this business model where you're making a profit,
Yeah.
right? You're creating really authentic, interesting partnerships that are strategic.
Right.
You're creating win-wins. Like, that's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Like, it's a series of win-wins that you've been developing. I'm super curious, just to pivot to the current time we're in, right? So we're recording this in 2025, but
Yes.
the market is challenging now. Tariffs
Yes.
are a thing now. Tell listeners how you're navigating this terrain, because your business is impacted by things like tariffs, right?
Absolutely, it is. It's very challenging for a lot of businesses. But I think for us, and a lot of people don't realize this, so the people that will buy our excess, they are so impacted by tariffs because they buy and sell from foreign countries. And so, which means for us, they're not buying as much because, again, they're getting these tariffs. So we have absolutely had to pivot. I think this has to be one of the toughest times for us because we're trying to figure out, oh my goodness, how do we pivot? How do we continue to do what we do because they're just not buying as much? So we have had to really kind of rethink what we're doing. One of the things that I've started to do is that we have an ambassador program where we work with retailers and we offer up various services. One of the big things, again, this comes from my data background, being in information technology. I'm a data girl. And so we've collected so much data over the years. That's something that's very valuable to retailers. So we do offer services now where we can help them report on their environmental impact. So we would do scorecards and we call it a sustainability scorecard to show them their impact. And again, those are all services that we offer for a fee. We can help them with their take back programs in terms of capturing that data of who's recycling, how much they're recycling. So again, we're offering that up as a fee. So I'm trying to figure out other revenue streams that we can use during this time, because it is very challenging. I'm not going to lie. It is very challenging. And we're not the only ones, but we're trying to adjust. As from a nonprofit perspective, getting grants is, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how tough that is. That is so many people are going after the same grants, and not as many grants are available. So that's also tough. So we're trying to figure out, again, revenue streams, even from the undie-chest side in terms of what we can do. So
yeah, for sure. Well, this has, I know, been the conversation in many small business spaces that I reside in, talking to founders and CEOs of what are you doing and how are you been impacted? And I think whether it's being impacted by tariffs or longer sales cycles for less money, more competitive, like this is the landscape that we're currently navigating. And so I think really supporting one another as we go through this challenging time is
absolutely. And I even think one of the things that I've actually had hard to do for a long time is figuring out how I can also do some more consulting with other nonprofits and small businesses. I think one of the things that I find, particularly with nonprofits and also small business, but definitely with nonprofits, is that I'm very, again, systems oriented. So I think making sure you have your systems in place to help you kind of run your business more effectively and efficiently is so key. And I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of those systems, but you don't have to be. And one of the things that I'd love to be able to do is help more businesses figure out how to streamline, how to put those systems in place. So you don't need as many resources to help you. So we have automated so much that it allows me not to have so many resources behind the scenes because we've just automated so much, which is, I think, very key, particularly in this, what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, you're speaking my language, Elaine. I know we met just a few months back, but I could see a partnership brewing because we do so much people and culture at ALC, and we want cultures, we want organizations to thrive. We're moving into the mergers and acquisition space to support nonprofits, be strategic about that. And part of that is also systems, right?
Absolutely.
What does that look like? So for listeners, you might hear from us again talking.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Well, this is great. Well, this has been such a great conversation with you, Elaine. I'm just curious, do you have anything coming up? Like if we have bras to donate, where can we send them to you? And do you have any parting thoughts or words of wisdom as well?
Yeah, no, we for sure. So I know we're recording in 2025, and we always encourage women in your drawers and see all those bras that you either never wore or can no longer wear. And definitely go to our website, thebra-recyclers.com. We have drop-offs all around the country. So you can go and click and see what's in your area, or you can mail them directly into us. So go on and click on the recycling form on our website, follow the instructions and mail them directly to us. You know, one thing I will leave, I think, for you, because I know you work with profits and other small businesses, is that make sure that you're integrating in some kind of doing good in your business. I think from a marketing perspective, people want to work with organizations that are giving back. A lot of companies, particularly younger individuals now, they're looking for that. They want to work with someone or companies that are making sure they're leaving this place a better place. So however you do that, whatever your passion is, weave that into your business model and make that be part of your mission. Because I think we all need to do that as businesses.
Yeah, totally agree. We could do a whole segment on cause marketing and what that means through businesses. I'm going to have that conversation on the podcast. And it should be something that is values aligned. It makes sense for your business. If it's inauthentic, everybody can see it. So it needs to be authentic. If you're
absolutely.
Yes.
Just read through that. They do that.
They do.
Yeah. So if you're trying to slap that label of social enterprise on, if you haven't.
No, if you're doing kind of social responsibility work, it needs to be authentic for it to really resonate with the community and the population that you're impacting. So again, I'm happy to do a whole podcast segment just on that. Well, this has been fantastic, Elaine. We'll have to have you on the podcast again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I love to be able to share what we're doing. And if I can help anyone, I'd love to.
Yeah, well, this is great. Well, for listeners, as always, you can find information about Elaine and her business on jennifersconiers.com and in the show notes. And until next time, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the ALC Changemakers podcast. If you found today's conversation inspiring or helpful, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps other changemakers like you find our show. At Abundance Leadership Consulting, we believe in building sustainable leadership and connected communities through justice, courage, and care. And that mission extends beyond individual leaders. It shapes the way we guide entire organizations through some of their bigger decisions. If your nonprofit is exploring a merger or acquisition, or even just starting to wonder if it might be on the right path, ALC is here to help you navigate that journey with integrity. Our signature F.A.B.R.I.C approach, fairness-centered accountability through belonging, relationships, inclusion, and collaboration, is a multi-phase process designed specifically for nonprofit organizations. Whether you're brand new to the idea of mergers and acquisitions, or you've been through the process before, we meet you where you are. You can learn more and book a complimentary F.A.B.R.I.C discovery call at nonprofit-ma.com. For leadership resources, tools, and to connect with our broader community, visit jennifersconiers.com. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, keep building relationships that matter, and keep creating change, one bold step at a time.